Hi everyone, my name is George. Like Peter said, I represent a company called Reply, which specializes in automating your emails and automating your cold emails in particular. So we have quite a lot of experience from working with people who want to send their cold emails and they want to automate them while at the same time keeping it personal. So today, I want to talk about the most common mistakes that people usually make when creating their cold emails or their cold email campaigns in particular. Let's begin. So, what is cold emailing? Just a brief reminder for those of you who don't have an idea of what it is. So, modern cold emailing is probably finding the most optimum way to automate your one-to-many email communication while still keeping it as personal as possible. So modern cold emailing allows you to save your time while still increasing your productivity, still getting to more and more people and booking more calls and closing more deals. So that's our main goal when doing cold emailing. So in this presentation, we are going to be talking specifically about the modern state of cold emailing evolution, which is namely automated and scaled cold email outreach using a system like Reply, for example. Now, I'm going to be giving you examples from our experience, and I'm going to be showing you examples based on our system, reply.io. So if you're only beginning to consider cold emailing or just sending cold emails to your prospects, I can understand those people who are only beginning to do it because it's easy to fall into the category of people who think that cold emails are probably like similar to spam and thus nobody should ever consider sending them. That's an understandable approach, but not approach, but an understandable opinion. But if you look at the current state of available technologies of enabling cold email outreach, you would quickly realize what a tremendous opportunity that is. With the amount of data that is available online today, it is now possible to find right people right when you need them. So whether your goal is to get people to respond to you or simply read your messages or engage with your messages in a certain way, for example, click on your links in your messages, today there's never been like a better time to launch a cold email campaign. So, but the problem today is, and this is based on our experience, based on what we have seen after having worked with hundreds of customers, too many people's cold emails are still very inefficient. So in this webinar, I'm going to be talking about ways to avoid the most common mistakes when preparing and launching your cold email campaigns, and thus, maximize your open and reply rates for those emails, and ultimately convert more opportunities and close more deals. So specifically, I'm going to be taking a look at 5 areas or 5 big stages of the cold email creation process where there's a possibility for failure or for mistakes. So these areas are as follows: choosing the right platform, getting high quality leads, or making sure that your list of contacts or list of prospects is high quality. That's very important. Copywriting and customization or personalization. That's a big part of very efficient cold emailing today. Scheduling and continuous improvement. So let's start from the first one. So choosing the right platform. Now, I think by now it's obvious to everybody that if you want to automate cold emails, one way or another, you'll have to be working with a software platform that allows you to do that. Over the past several years, the number of such tools has skyrocketed, and you have plenty of options to choose from today. And we specifically at Reply, we are really proud to call ourselves one of the pioneers in this space. The main question that will help you understand and select the right platform for your needs is the one that you see on your screen. You need to answer the question, what is the purpose of your cold email? Is it getting people to read your email? Is it getting people to engage? For example, click on the links in your email? Or is it getting people to respond to you and start a conversation? So based on your reply to this question, you may, for example, go with a platform that specializes in sending large volumes of emails within a short period of time. For example, if you want to cover like 1,000 people within a very short time, like an hour or a day. So, but that would be without getting people to respond to you. On the other hand, if your goal is to get people to respond to you, you might want to go with a platform like ours, like Reply, that allows you to achieve higher deliverability, higher open rates, higher response rates, and ultimately get more people to respond to you and start a conversation and hopefully close more deals afterwards. And newsletter platform, I just want to be clear, selecting a newsletter platform, a platform that specializes in sending large volumes of newsletters, would not be efficient for sales outreach, because sales always implies that you want people to start a conversation, start engaging with you, be it via email, via a phone conversation, inviting them for a phone call, and so on. The next item is getting high quality leads. So this step means that you need to make sure that you have a high quality leads. And honestly, I cannot stress this enough. This is probably one of the most important things to think about when, even before you create and consider your cold email campaign. Make sure that you have a high quality list or source of leads, and that's probably one of the most important keys to success. In other words, for example, if you sell software targeted at marketers, having, let's say, 10,000 emails of company CEOs isn't nearly as efficient as having 10,000 emails of people in marketing, VPs of marketing, or marketing managers, or just marketers themselves. So, and also you need to make sure that that the contacts in your list are up to date and valid to avoid getting high bounce back rates. If you're using a system like Reply, the way to achieve the best performance is to send emails through your email account, because when people are getting emails from you directly and not from a third-party email server, they're more likely to respond to you. When they see that somebody personally sent them an email, they are more likely to respond to it. And because of that, you're sending emails through your email account, and it is very important for you, first of all, to keep the bounce back at a low level. We at Reply usually recommend keeping the bounce back rate at below 10%, because if you exceed 10% or maybe 15%, you might get into trouble with your email provider. So that's important to understand. And for example, if you're not sure about the quality of your list, for example, if somebody gave that list to you, if you purchased that list, or if you purchased that list a while ago, chances are some of those people, some of those contacts are not working there anymore. People, tend to change jobs after a while. So before using that list, I would recommend cleaning it. We call it cleaning, but essentially what it means validating those emails And there are services online that allow you to do that. You can clean your list, validate your list in order to make sure that you're only emailing people with real email addresses. And you can, by the way, you can do that in our system as well. There's a built-in functionality in Reply to validate your emails. So a good rule of thumb is this: if you're only starting to build a list of contacts to reach out to, I recommend spending at least 3 to 4 hours researching who your target audience is. So you better segment them, you create better messaging, and so on. So this is an example of how you can segment leads or prospects into different categories. In Reply, we have this list functionality where you can create lists based on pretty much anything. In my example, I have lists based on their positions. So for example, I have lists of marketers, sales managers, HR managers, CEOs, CFOs. This can be pretty much anything. You can create lists based on territory, where people are located, or the size of their companies, or whatever it may be. So you can use this information, use these categories to tailor your cold emailing, tailor your campaigns to reflect that you're reaching out to a CFO or to a marketer, because messaging your email copy to a sales manager would probably be different from an email that you send to a CEO of a company. The third big stage of creating a cold email campaign is the process of creating the messages themselves, writing email copies and customizing them. So let's now take a look at the things that people usually fail at this stage. These are the ones that you see on your screen. The first one is using outdated cold email template techniques. So one would think that by the beginning of 2017, email marketers, salespeople should learn from the mistakes, from their past mistakes. But for some reason, a typical cold email still looks similar to this. Hey, first name, I've seen your something, your article, your social media account, your Twitter account, your website here, and I really like it. And this is why I think you should check the stuff that I sell or the stuff that I represent. I mean, really, come on, people. I'm sure that everybody understands that an email like this is a templated email. And as soon as you see something like this, especially when the first name, meaning the name of the person it is addressed to, is written in a different font, that's a templated email, and people have learned by far to just throw it into the spam folder right away without even opening it. So my point is that your contacts the people you're targeting are smarter than you might think they are, and everybody has already learned from email like this that that this is a templated email and people don't usually open it. The secret to writing a highly efficient email campaign, and specifically cold email campaign, is this: with a system like ours, you're not sending like a selfless automated message, a cold message. You're still sending your own unique personalized email that you would send otherwise if you were doing this manually, by copying that message and pasting the core message and then tweaking a few things to fit every specific person in the list to make it resonate with each contact. So that's what essentially you're doing via cold email automation software as well. The second mistake is not caring or not paying too much attention to the subject line. The subject line is the most important part of your email. The subject line is your gateway to grabbing the first milliseconds of your audience's attention. So we strongly believe that you should spend at least as much time creating the subject line as you spend creating the email itself. And some people think that the way to achieve this is to put as much information about the contents of the email into the subject line. We think that the best way to make it resonate is to make it short, but to use information that's only relevant and important to each particular contact. And the way to do that is to use variables. And the example that you see on your screen is using the company variable that will later on replace the actual name of the company, and people will see their company name in the subject line. You know, statistically and theoretically, when people see something that's relevant to them, they're just more likely to click on that email. And clicking on an email is probably like 50% of your success. Getting people to click on your email, that's already half the battle. So things you might use as variables can be pretty much anything. Pretty much anything you know about your contacts, pretty much any information that you have in your contact list. And for example, do you know people's company name, like here in this example? Or do you know what technologies they might be using? Or do you know their boss's name? Do you know, the names of their competitors? Anything you can use to make it resonate with people. But of course, do not think that including as many variables, like cramming as many variables into the subject line or into the message, would automatically mean that your email is successful. It will bring you high open rates and response rates. If anything, the subject line should first and foremost sound natural. So it should be natural. The next item is using other people's email copies. So at Reply, I get this question a lot. How should my email copy look like? What a successful email copy look like? What should I write? And no matter how tempting it might be for you to go to Google and search for best email copies, we've seen at Reply that the most successful email campaigns are usually the ones that are tailored for your specific audience, which means you write them manually, because you, like no one else, know your audience and you know what they care about. So I do recommend writing your email copies yourself. And don't get me wrong, researching successful email copies or approaches to writing cold emails might be essential in the process of creating your cold email campaign, but searching for those examples should rather be an inspiration than the source of just a blind copy. And in some cases, it might be a good idea to just talk to companies that specialize in writing a very highly efficient email campaigns. We partner with some of such companies. If your budget allows that's probably, if you're a beginner, that's a good approach to start with, letting other experienced people to write your efficient email copies. The next item is not using context. Just as with the subject line, context in the body of the email is essential. The campaigns in our system are our customers' campaigns that I've seen that achieve poor response rates. They don't usually try to resonate with the readers in any significant way. The reasoning for this approach is somewhat understandable. People who create those email campaigns try to cover as many contacts as possible with the same email campaign, with the same messaging, with the same email copies, which leads to the fact that those emails sound generic and unconvincing. The way to avoid this is to spend some time researching your contacts to find commonality so that you can segment those leads into multiple campaigns. or find more details that you can use as custom variables, and tweaking the whole first couple of sentences for each contact. An example that you can see on your screen, which means that you simply change or modify or add a few custom messages based on what you know about your prospects. And this can also be done via variables in reply. So you can put a whole message, a whole sentence into a variable, and thus you don't need to do this manually for each contact. And the next mistake people usually make is they don't put themselves into the prospect's shoes. So with all the things that I've mentioned so far, if you do all of them right, there's still chance for failure. The best way to understand this is to ask yourself, am I writing an email that I myself would read through to the end? And it really blows my mind how many people campaigns don't pass this test. The reason here is usually the same. Having grabbed the attention of the reader with the subject line, people usually are trying to put as much useful information from their point of view into the first email, with the rest of the follow-up sounding approximately the same. You know, hey, did you read my previous email? This is, in our opinion, this is a mistake. We believe that the best approach for cold emailing is to keep it short, to the point, and offer a bit of value, a bit of like an insight, a bit of useful information on every step of the campaign, and not just in the first message, while still making the reader want to reach out to you for more details. And while creating those emails, you should be asking the question, what's in it for them? What are you offering to your prospects? Because the most common thing people do is they are trying to describe what they are doing, what they are selling, how they are so cool and so great. Whereas people that you're sending cold emails to don't usually care. Why should I care that you're the best manufacturer of software, for example? So you need to ask yourself, what's in it for them? And you need to position your cold email in such a way that you need to talk about them. You need to talk about your prospects and how they are going to benefit from having a conversation with you. The next item is the continuous improvement. So believe me, if you think that your campaign is perfect, there's always more room for improvement. And one of the ways to increase your open rates and reply rates is to continuously A/B test your copies. And this is an example that you're seeing on your screen, is how A/B testing is implemented in reply. You can create multiple copies of the same message. So essentially the way it's done is the two variants are sent randomly to your contacts, but they are sent 50-50. So for example, if you have 100 contacts, half of them will get message A and the other half will get message B. And based on that information, you'll be able to make your decisions. Which one is more successful? In the analytics, you'll see that, for example, message A gets much more opens or much more replies, whichever is more important to you. So you'll be able to do something about variant B, whether remove it or modify it or do something about it, or maybe simply just copy the more successful messaging into the less successful one. So, of course, besides A/B testing, there's a lot of other tools depending on the platform you choose. In reply, there's a lot of, like I mentioned, like rich analytics and actionable data that you can use. Like you can track the detailed prospect activity, you know, everything that's been happening between you and the prospect, when they received your first email, when they opened it, when they clicked on your link in your email. So you can see that in chronological order. And when, for example, when somebody is opening your email a bunch of times without responding to you, maybe you should do something about it. You should get on a call with them and try to convert, because people opening your email multiple times, that's a good indication that the person might be interested in whatever you're offering in your cold email. So all these tools you can use to spot hot leads earlier and close your details more efficiently. So that's pretty much it. We can probably go to the Q&A stage.